Part 1. Finding your story. No one ever made a decision because of a number. They need a story. Daniel Kahneman. Writing myself into existence. I think that's what I was trying to do. And it's cool to write a song and then have it come true. Ani DeFranco. It's a human need to be told stories. The more we're governed by idiots and have no control over our destinies, the more we need to tell stories to each other about who we are, why we are, where we come from, and what might be possible. Alan Rickman. Chapter 1. My Promise to You. About a year ago, a man in one of my workshops asked, "Why am I here? I don't want to stand on stages and tell stories. I don't want to compete in story slams. I'm not an entertainer. I don't get it." It was a good question, particularly because the man in question hadn't chosen my workshop. His wife had asked him to attend. He wasn't the first person to attend a workshop for this reason. "My wife told me to take your workshop" is a surprisingly common reason given by men sitting before me in workshops. Perhaps you're asking yourself the same question. If you have no desire to stand on a stage and bare your soul, why learn to find and tell great stories? Not that long ago, I was asking the same question. 2 years into my storytelling career, Alicia and I founded that Hartford-based storytelling organization that I'd once talked about with my friends. We call it Speak Up. Together we produce shows throughout New England to sellout audiences numbering as high as 500 people. About a year into Speak Up's existence, I started teaching storytelling too. But as with my journey to becoming a storyteller, my career as a teacher of storytelling began against my will. As our Speak Up audience grew and people wanted to learn to tell stories, they began asking me to teach the craft. I balked. I had no interest. But they were persistent. Many wanted to take a stage and tell a story. Others saw storytelling as a potential asset in their careers as attorneys, professors, salespeople, or therapists. Still others thought storytelling might help them make friends and improve their relationships. Buckling under the weight of their pressure, I announced that I would teach one storytelling workshop. One and done. 10 people spent 6 evenings with me in a conference room at a local library. I taught them everything I knew about storytelling. I told stories and explained my process for crafting them. I listened to their stories and offered feedback. As with storytelling itself, I quickly realized how much I enjoyed teaching the craft. Deconstructing the elements of a good story. Building a curriculum around what I knew and was still learning. Listening to stories and helping to find ways to shape them better. Turning my students into the kinds of people who can light up a room with a great story. My one and done workshop has grown into something I do regularly and with zeal today. I travel the world teaching the art and craft of storytelling. The people I teach are varied and diverse. I teach performers and would-be performers who want to become better storytellers. Some have never taken the stage before, and others are grizzled veterans looking to improve their skills. Many of these former students have gone on to take the stage at the Moth, Speak Up, and other storytelling shows. In August of 2016, one of my students beat me in a Moth Grand Slam competition for the first time. I finished second, and she finished first. Perhaps I had taught her a little too well. I teach attorneys, salespeople, and business leaders who want to improve their presentation skills, sales pitches, and branding. I teach novelists, essayists, screenwriters, television writers, poets, archivists, and other creative sorts who want to refine their understanding of story. I teach professors, school teachers, ministers, priests, and rabbis who want to improve their lectures and sermons and hold the attention of their audiences. I teach storytelling to people who want to improve their dating skills. I teach people who want to be more interesting at the dinner table. I teach grandfathers who want their grandchildren to finally listen to them. I teach students who want to tell better stories on their college applications. I teach job applicants who are looking to improve their interview skills. I teach people who want to learn more about themselves. People have quit therapy and opted to participate in my storytelling workshops instead. While I don't endorse this decision, it's apparently working for them. Wives send their befuddled husbands to my workshops, hoping that storytelling will spark something inside them. Later, they tell me how their husbands have opened up like never before. One woman told me that her husband has opened up a little too much. People take my workshops again and again to discover more about themselves and find ways to connect with other people through their own personal narratives. A married couple once spent their anniversary attending one of my all-day workshops because they knew it would be a chance to laugh together and learn about each other. They brought champagne. I teach the children of Holocaust survivors who want to preserve their stories of their parents and grandparents. I teach psychiatrists and psychologists who want to help their patients reframe their lives through story. I teach politicians, labor organizers, healthcare advocates, and educational reformers who need to change hearts and minds. I promise that whatever you do, storytelling will help. While I am often standing on a stage and performing, there are a few things I do in life that aren't aided by my ability to tell a story. Whether I'm teaching the metric system to my 5th graders, pitching Speak Up to a new venue, selling my DJ services to a prospective client, or making small talk at a professional development seminar, storytelling helps me achieve my goals. Storytelling makes me a better dinner companion. It compensates for my inability to hit a golf ball accurately. It makes me far more palatable to my in-laws. No matter who you are or what you do, storytelling can help you achieve your goals. That is why you are reading this book. That is why that man was sitting in my workshop that day. In these pages, you will find lessons on finding, crafting, and telling stories that will connect you to other people. Make them believe in and trust you. Compel them to want to know more about you and the things you care about. You'll find specific examples of well-told stories, exercises designed to locate meaningful, compelling stories in your life, step-by-step instructions for crafting those stories. I hope to entertain you as well. As much as I want you to learn to become a storyteller, I can't help but tell some stories along the way. In addition to teaching you how to tell an effective, entertaining, and moving story, I hope to give you a peek into my life as a storyteller. My plan is to pull back the curtain and show you some of the highs and lows of my storytelling career. In short, I plan to tell you some stories. I also want you to trust me. There's no codified curriculum when it comes to storytelling. No universally accepted laws or rules, no canonical absolutes. Storytelling is more art than science. It's an ancient form of communication and entertainment that has been practiced since humans first developed language. But the rise and popularity of personal storytelling is relatively new. There are no official schools of thought, no hard and fast formulas. But I tell my students this: if you apply my strategies and methods to the craft, you will become a highly successful storyteller. Not every storyteller agrees with my strategies, but every student who has followed my instructions has become an effective, entertaining, successful storyteller. My instruction works. You too can be a great storyteller. It's time to learn how.